Nothing like having a great day out there on the water, ripping it up, having a good time, and then all of a sudden, things go wrong. Kind of like some of the stuff we'll see in this week's episode of Boating News of the Week. Our first story to make the boating news this week is going to be where more than 100 crewmen said they were stranded on a drill ship in the Gulf of Mexico after Hurricane Ida battered the area. Crew on board the Noble's Globetrotter II drill ship, which is located about 100 miles from Louisiana shore, said they rode out the storm in 80-foot waves and 150-mile-an-hour winds. Several crew members now have been quoted as saying that the Noble Corporation and Shell were supposed to send ships out to rescue them, but help never arrived. And basically that the corporations actually made the last-second call to even try and move the ship, but the call came in too late, as it came in the day the storm was expected to hit the vessel, and according to crew members, it would have took 3 days alone to pull up lines. They did eventually get some of the lines disconnected and were able to move the ship slightly, but still it didn't help, and the crew basically had to ride the storm out on the vessel. Unfortunately, 9 people were injured during this event. Currently, Noble and Shell have made comments that the vessel is under its own power and is not currently taking on water, even though some of the images we've shown here obviously show the vessel was taking on water. The hull did suffer damage, but they are saying this damage has been controlled and the vessel is not currently in any danger. The Coast Guard has officially been out to visit the vessel and has started rescuing and pulling crew members off the ship and bringing them back to shore. But I have to imagine this was one intense ride for the crew members who had to ride the hurricane out on board the vessel. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us down to South Florida, where we had a real live version of Miami Vice occur this week, when all of a sudden 4 people on board a vessel were attempted to be pulled over by Bal Harbour Marine Patrol when they came through a no-wake zone too fast. All of a sudden the 4 people pulled the vessel over behind a house, tied up to a stranger's dock, unboarded from the vessel, and began to flee the scene.
Trying to flee from me, traveling south on Indian Creek Canal.
Leading to a manhunt in the small Florida community of Bal Harbour involving both Marine and Air Patrols.
A black female, 2 black male, 2 Hispanic male, running behind 226 Albany Drive.
Authorities say they have taken 2 people who were on board the vessel into custody, and the other 2 are still at large at this time. But it didn't take authorities long to figure out why everybody ran. Once they aborted the abandoned vessel, they discovered 36 bales of marijuana. The vessel was later pulled into Holiver Marine Center, and it was actually taken out of the water by authorities and taken to impound due to having the narcotics on board. One of the craziest parts of this to us is some of you may know that we actually operate another YouTube channel called the Miami Boat Ramps channel that focuses on all the hilarity that happens at the boat ramps down in South Florida, and we actually caught this vessel at one of those ramps earlier the month, but it looks like we won't be seeing them around the ramps anytime soon. Our next story to make the boating news this week is going to take us over to the Persian Gulf, where this past week an offshore vessel collided with an offshore gas platform in Iran's South Pars gas field. Photos and videos shared by the Pars Oil and Gas Company show a vessel that could be a fast cruise supply ship, but the company did not immediately share the vessel's details. According to the POGC, there were no casualties on the deck of the platform, and the platform was unaffected by the incident. The Pars Oil and Gas Company has claimed that the accident is under investigation at this time, but currently they're unaware of what actually caused the incident. And they also mentioned that gas production from this platform has continued uninterrupted since the collision. Our next incident to make the boating news this week is going to take us back over to Florida and one of the happiest places on earth, and that is Disney in Orlando. But unfortunately, it wasn't happy for everybody this past week when a fight broke out on board a Magic Kingdom ferry boat. A video shared by an Instagram user, Anna Chisholm, shows the fight involving multiple guests. Not a whole lot of details have been released about this incident yet. All we really know is it occurred on the Richard F. Irvine ferry boat. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Disney in Orlando, but I've always thought this one was a poor idea. Basically, after spending 12 hours in the blazing sun of a park, you're gonna pile onto a ferry boat with a bunch of people and try and come back across the water. This was just bound to happen at some point. The reports are that this incident was broken up pretty quickly after this video ends by park security, and all the people involved were actually asked to leave the park's property. But once again, this just shows you what can happen at the happiest place on earth. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Boating News of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening out on your waterways, be sure to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram and let me know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Adrian Zach, Don Hodgendorn, Victoria Larini, and Anna Chisholm did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.